When my wife, Sarah, didn't come home that night, I tried to convince myself everything was fine. Maybe she was staying late at work, or perhaps she'd gone to her sister's place. I repeated those thoughts like a mantra to calm the unease creeping in. But as the hours dragged on and every call went unanswered, my worry started to twist into something darker: suspicion. By midnight, I was pacing in the living room, staring at the untouched dinner I'd made for her. The food had gone cold, but the realization warming in my chest was much worse. Something wasn't right. And deep down, I already knew what it was. The next morning, I opened to find my phone app we'd installed years ago, just in case. My breath caught when I saw it. Her phone had spent the night at a hotel across town. That was all it took. Proof, undeniable and cruel. My chest tightened as I stared at the glowing screen, feeling anger, heartbreak, and disbelief crash over me in waves. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I just sat in silence, realizing that 10 years of marriage might have ended without a warning, without even a fight. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A message from Sarah. "I'm sorry. I can explain everything. Please don't do anything until we talk." My hands trembled as I read it. There wasn't an ounce of regret in her words, just a tone of control, like she wanted to manage the situation, not confess it. I didn't reply. I decided I'd let her explain in person, but on my terms. That evening, she walked through the door looking pale, her eyes red, her hands shaking. "I made a mistake," she whispered, "but it didn't mean anything." I said nothing. I just listened as she spun her web about being lonely, confused, emotionally lost. The more she spoke, the colder I felt. She wasn't sorry for betraying me. She was sorry she got caught. I told her I needed time to think, and she left to stay with her sister. What she didn't know was that I already had a plan. Over the next few days, I gathered every piece of evidence I could find: hotel receipts, call logs, text messages. I wasn't looking for revenge. Not yet. I just wanted to understand how long the betrayal had been happening, and the truth I uncovered was worse than I imagined. This wasn't a one-time mistake. Sarah had been seeing her co-worker for months. They'd gone on trips together, shared private jokes about me, even made plans for their future. Reading those messages felt like being cut open from the inside out. But I didn't break. I stayed calm. I realized that the most powerful revenge wouldn't come from shouting or tears. It would come from silence, from composure, from walking away with my dignity intact. I met with a lawyer, quietly filed for divorce, and transferred my savings into a separate account Sarah didn't know existed. I arranged to buy out her share of the house. Once everything was finalized, every move was deliberate, legal, and clean. When I finally handed her the divorce papers, she looked at me in disbelief. "You're not even going to fight for us?" she asked, tears streaming down her face. I looked at her and said, "You ended this marriage the moment you chose him. I'm just finishing what you started." That silence between us was louder than any argument we'd ever had. In the following weeks, she bombarded me with messages, apologies, pleas, accusations. Some days she begged me to forgive her. Other days she blamed me for not trying harder. I ignored every one of them. I had spent too many years patching wounds I didn't cause. Months passed. I heard through mutual friends that her affair had fallen apart. The co-worker had left her, and she was struggling to find a new place to stay. I didn't feel joy. I just felt peace. That was when I realized revenge doesn't always have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's simply walking away and letting the truth dismantle them. One evening, she sent one last message. "I wish I could take everything back. I miss you." I stared at it for a while, then deleted it without replying. That was my closure. No shouting, no final speech, just silence that spoke louder than words ever could. As time moved on, I began rebuilding my life piece by piece. I poured myself into work, reconnected with old friends, and started finding happiness in the smallest things again. The pain didn't vanish overnight, but with each sunrise, I felt a little lighter. I learned that forgiveness doesn't mean welcoming someone back. It means freeing yourself from their hold. A few months later, I accepted a new job in another city. New place, new people, new life. I left everything that reminded me of Sarah behind, except the lesson she unknowingly taught me. Never let love blind you to the truth. Never let betrayal define who you are. And one quiet night, standing by the window of my new apartment as the city lights shimmered below, I felt something unexpected: gratitude. Not for her, but for the strength her betrayal forced me to find. She broke my heart, but in doing so, she set me free.